being frustrated. I'm frustrated. Cleaning it up, knowing where you're supposed to be, knowing what your job is. Don't try to do more than what you're supposed to be doing. Wrap up, tackle. Stop trying to take people's heads off and just get them to the ground. What's good, everybody? This your boy Raider J 77, and I am going live. This is my first live stream, and so I don't know if everybody really knows what goes into all of this YouTube stuff, but it's major, man. There's a lot of work that goes into it. We talked about it a little bit last night on Troxel Sports Network with my boy Darian. He was on there, and there's a lot to it, man. And so this is my first stream. This is my first live stream, excuse me. And so, if everything doesn't work out, bear with me. Let me know if you see something that, isn't right, or if you can't hear me or something like that, just let me know, because I am new to this YouTube thing. I am just getting started, but you know what? We're going to try to do this real tight for y'all. So I want to say welcome everybody to the chat. Everybody that's in here, man, feel free to comment. I definitely would love to get feedback as we talk about these different topics that we've got today coming up in the show. So just let me know. Put it in the chat, and I'll shout you out for sure. I appreciate everybody who's liked and subscribed. Make sure you do that. Make sure you like, subscribe. Make sure you share. Make sure you let everybody know what it is, that you're subscribing to. Let everybody know about the channel. Let everybody know about my channel. Let everybody know about the Raiders, the Spotlight Raiders Talk channel. That's going to be in the description. Go check out the Spotlight Sports Talk channel. That's in the description. Go check out our Twitter. We're real heavy on the social, so we always respond to social media. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, we want you guys to be as much a part of these shows as possible. So make sure you check it out. Make sure you hit us up on the socials. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, because we always have content. We've got content, not just Raiders content. We've got Trailblazers content. We've got all of the NFL, all of the NBA. We cover wrestling. We cover hockey. We cover all the sports on the Spotlight Sports Network. So just make sure you check us out in all the different ways. And if you aren't sure where to go, hit us up, and we'll be happy to point you in the right direction. So today, though, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the Raiders. My team, the Raiders. All right, we're going to go over some news and some notes. Some of the things I've been seeing on Twitter and going on inside the NFL. Some of the stuff not necessarily directly relates or directly is directly with the Raiders as far as news and notes, but some stuff that affects the Raiders. Obviously, we're in the AFC West, so we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on around our conference, or our division, excuse me. We're gonna have some good time. Then we're gonna talk about kind of a hot button topic right now. Especially with the coronavirus, there's a lot of reports of a lot of different teams coming out with different reports of players and personnel that are coming down with the coronavirus, and so that begs the question: what is the NFL going to do moving forward? Should they shut down? Should they shut down shop and just not go forward with any more games? Should they go into more of a bubble style? Is it too late for that? So that's a topic we're going to talk about, and I want you guys to jump into the chat. I want you guys to put your opinion in the chat, and then we're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss it. So hold on, I just got a little message real quick. Give me one quick second. I'm going to check this message out real quick. All right, so anyhow, sorry about that. I apologize. That was my emergency line that was ringing through, so I had to check it real quick. But yeah, so we're just gonna have a good time. We're gonna have some good talk, and hopefully, you guys can give me some of your input. And if you have comments and questions, we are gonna cover questions at the end. So if you want to put some questions in the chat, definitely make sure that you do that. So the first thing that I want to talk about, we're going to go over the news and notes. We'll do should the NFL keep going with games last. So first of all, the Broncos rule out tight end Noah Fant and running back Melvin Gordon III for the game against the Pats. Now I know this isn't, this isn't a huge, thing specifically for the Raiders, but it does apply to the Raiders, because obviously we want to win the division. So as many division rivals as can lose as possible is good. So right now the Broncos are ruling out tight end Noah Fant, running back Melvin Gordon III for the game against the Pats. I believe that's on Sunday. So that's a good thing for the Raiders because, the Broncos are already kind of a dumpster fire, and that just kind of more seals the deal for them, as far as, whether or not they're going to win that game. In addition to that, the Broncos have released Blake Bortles from their team. So I'm not exactly sure why. I didn't do a lot of research into that, but I know that definitely, that's a big deal. When a player gets released, especially this time in the season, there's a reason for that. So I don't know if, they're trying to make space to bring somebody up, to the practice squad or somebody up, even to the starting lineup. So I'm not 100% sure, but they've released Blake Bortles. I believe he's their second or third string quarterback. But if you know for sure, just correct me if I'm wrong. A couple of other things as far as the Raiders are concerned. Let's see. So I got some information, moving forward. I got some information. It's not really news, but it's more of a note. So Henry Ruggs III is the only wide receiver in the league with a perfect passer rating with at least 10 targets. His passer rating is 158.3. So that's huge. This guy was out for, I believe, 2 games. He played 2 games or played 3 games, out 2 games. So in 3 games, he's already set a precedence. This dude is legit. He is going to be the future of this team. It's no longer in the hands of, it seems to be, it's no longer in the hands of just Josh Jacob and Derek Carr. Now they've got another piece to the offense that they can really, really hang their hat on and really, really butter their bread, for lack of a better term. They really can go to this guy on a regular basis. He's balling out when he's been healthy. Obviously, the injury was a factor. Hopefully, he's good to go moving forward. Hopefully, that was just him kind of not being able to get into football shape due to the short off season and the lack of a preseason. But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, as it looks right now, he's the only wide receiver in the league with a perfect passer rating with at least 10 targets. Also, in addition to that, Derek Carr was named Kurt Warner's top top QB in week 5. So he versus Kansas City, his stats are he was 22 of 31 for 347 yards and 3 touchdowns, a QB rating of 126.7. He had 2 long throws, one to Aguilar for 59 yards and a touchdown, and a 72-yard throw to Henry Ruggs III. Next Gen Stats shows that Carr's 234 yards and 3 touchdowns in the middle of the field were most by any NFL QB this season. So that's huge. That's a huge upset, obviously, for the Kansas City Chiefs. A huge confidence boost for Carr and for our team. As well as, that is a big accomplishment by Derek Carr, especially considering how poorly he has played at Arrowhead in the past. He's never thrown more than 1 touchdown at Arrowhead in his entire career. And most of the time, he throws 1 or 2 interceptions along with that. He threw 3 touchdowns in this game, 1 interception. So the dude did it big. He really made a statement. This was a statement game for him. He had something to prove, and he went out there and proved it and outplayed Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead. And, people are paying attention. The mainstream media is paying attention to what's going on in Las Vegas. That's going to take me a while still to get used to that. But they're paying attention to what's going on in Vegas with the Raiders. And so hopefully the teams don't. Hopefully the teams keep sleeping on the Raiders. But, we will definitely see how that is moving forward. So, and then now as far as injuries are concerned, I looked into, some of the stuff that's going on with injuries. Let me pull my information up here. What's up, Spotlight Raiders Talk, man? I appreciate you guys being here. What's up, Key in the building, man? Shout out to you. Appreciate you coming into the chat. Appreciate you checking this out. All right, so John Gruden was talking about some of the injuries in a interview that he did recently. He says, "I like to keep playing." Said Coach Gruden Monday to the media. I like to play doubleheaders sometimes. So basically, they're talking about the bye week and like how beneficial is this for them and their injuries. But it's part of the schedule, as you know. So in some ways, it will get Trent Brown an additional couple of days to respond to his first game. We're hoping Richie Incognito can come back. Fingers crossed. Hopefully that we can get our starting left guard back, because we definitely need him moving forward, especially as we get closer to the playoffs. And obviously Maurice Hurst, that's going to be a huge. He actually was our best defender, had the best stats, and our top ranked defender before he went down with the COVID-19 injured reserve list. And then Damon Arnett, of course, we want to get him back as soon as possible. He's our other lockdown corner. And then Brian Edwards, of course, our other starting wide receiver, getting him back is definitely going to help stretch the field, especially with, the threat of Henry Ruggs, and also with Nelson Aguilar, who's doing really good. And actually, definitely, speaking of Nelson Aguilar, y'all go check out the Spotlight Raiders Talk. My boy Darian, he breaks it down. He breaks down Aguilar in one of the videos, and how much of an asset he is, and how much of a comeback he's having with the silver and black. So make sure you go check that out. And then, he said, we got a lot of guys that are still on the mend, so I'll take this bye week this year at this time, definitely. So yeah, most definitely, we want to get those guys back. Hopefully we get Richie Incognito back for the Tampa Bay game. They haven't released any sort of, because they're not playing this week, so I haven't seen any injury report. When I do see it, I'll definitely share that on Twitter. Go check me out on Twitter right there at RaiderJ_77. And also on Facebook, My City, My Game. I'll definitely be getting that out to folks as soon as that information comes across. So look out for that. The next thing I want to talk about here real quick is, and I don't want to spend a ton of time doing this, but obviously, we're getting close to the trade deadline, and there are a few guys out there that I personally would like to see, the Raiders pursue. At the very least, pursue it, kick the tires on them, see the possibilities. There's no super, there's no super studs out there that are, a blockbuster trade or a blockbuster signing, nothing like that. But there are some guys that really will add some depth to the roster, to what we got going on. And that's mainly what I think we need to focus on, is the safety position and the defensive line position. So right now, there's a few guys. I'm going to start with the safety. So Eric Reed, he's still a free agent from what I understand. Last season, he put up 124 tackles, 91 solo tackles, 4 sacks, 6 passes defensed, 1 forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries. That's pretty good. Now, the sticky part about this is he's a strong safety. I've actually got a couple of strong safeties. So Jonathan Abram, our starting strong safety, he's doing pretty good. He's playing pretty well. So the question really is if they bring in one of these guys like Eric Reed or Earl Thomas, I'll talk about it in a minute, are they really, are they going to bring them in and replace Abram? Because I don't see Abram not starting. Now, they might bring him in to spell Abram, which I think really is what they should do. I think Abram has to get as much burn as possible. He's got to be out there, so they can really get him up to speed and get him a lot of playing time. So I would not want to see Abram taking a back seat to one of these guys. I would want to keep Abram as the starter, get as much burn from him as possible. But bringing in one of these guys like Eric Reed or Earl Thomas would really, really add a lot of depth. And not only that, but it would add a veteran presence. Because right now, I don't really feel like we have, a really, really good veteran presence. So the other guy I was thinking about is that's on the list is obviously Earl Thomas. As I mentioned, last year he finished with 47 tackles, 30 solo tackles, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, and 4 passes defensed. So those are pretty good stats. I like Earl Thomas. A lot of people are like, no, stay away from him. Do not go do not go pick him up. He's a cancer in the locker room. He just doesn't have the attitude for football. Or for a team sport. What's up, B Al? Hey, good to see you, man. Glad you came into the chat, man. I appreciate you. Shout out to B Al. And so, yeah, man, I really think that he, regardless of, how he is, I mean, the Raiders are notorious for bringing guys in. Al Davis, he loved a good project. He loved to bring guys in, that were kind of cast off or cast aside, or kind of the black sheep of the NFL. The guys that nobody really wanted, or maybe they had an attitude problem. And I think John Gruden and Mike Mayock are kind of bringing that back. Maybe not to the extreme, because Al Davis just didn't care. Al Davis didn't give a F. He didn't care at all. He was notorious for that too. I mean, he didn't care if you were a woman, a man. He didn't care what color you were. Like he did not care. If you could win, just win, baby. That was his motto. He lived and breathed that. He didn't just say that. Those weren't just words to him. That was real life. Just win, baby. He did not care. So now I'm not sure Mayock and Gruden are quite as extreme as he is when it comes to that, but they definitely seem to be picking that mantle up and bringing guys in like Richie Incognito. They gave Antonio Brown a shot, and unfortunately that didn't work out. But they like to give guys shots. To see what they can actually do. Vontaze Burfict, they gave him a shot, and unfortunately the NFL, kind of had a target on his back. But bring in Earl Thomas. No matter what's going on, he could be a great addition to this team. Like I said, where you use him, how you use him, that remains to be seen. I personally would think that he would back up Abram, and spell Abram and really be there to help coach him up and teach him. But, bring him in on like a 1-year prove-it deal, make him put in some work. But I mean, there's really not a whole lot of loss there as long as you do the deal right. Now I'm going to move to the free safety. So Eric Weddle, he's supposedly retired. There has been some rumor that he wanted to come back into the NFL. I don't know how much actual like strength is behind that rumor. But I also heard that if he does come back, he would want to play for the Raiders. He retired with the Rams. Free safety, Eric Weddle. So he had 96 total tackles last season, 57 solo, no sacks, 4 passes defense, no forced fumbles. I would do this for the right price. I would bring him back out of retirement because he didn't do that well. He did well enough to be serviceable, I believe, in my opinion. For my starters, I look for, if you think about it, Abrams already had 28 total tackles and 21 solo tackles. So he's only played, in 5 games so far. So there's, he had no sacks, but he's had 3 passes defense and an interception already. So as far as Eric Weddle coming in, I think that he could be better than an Eric Harris, because Eric Harris is not doing that well. But I think, again, you're talking about veteran presence. You're talking about a veteran guy in the locker room that can really do a lot. Maybe he can help coach up Eric Harris to get him a little bit better, show him some stuff. But I personally, if they brought in Weddle, I would start him over Harris because Harris is just not getting it done. So, all right, now I'm going to move to the defensive line. So you've got defensive tackle Quinnen Williams, defensive end Carlos Dunlap, and defensive end J.J. Watt. These are the 3 guys that I would target. So Quinnen Williams, last year so far this year he's got 28 total tackles, 9 solo, 2 sacks, 0 passes defense, 0 interceptions, and 1 forced fumble. That's pretty decent. Especially because he is playing on a very terrible, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Gang Green. I apologize, Gang Green David. The Jets are not good. So, he definitely. Looks like BL says can't hear content. Where's the C? Oh, hold on 1 second. You know what? Let me see if I can fix that for you, man. Let me see if I can fix that for you. Let me turn my mic up. Check. How's that? Is that better, man? Can you hear me better now? Let me know. Let me know, Bial, if you can hear me better, man, or if you're still not getting what's coming through. So let me know. But I'm gonna keep moving forward. So Quentin Williams, yeah. So I think bringing him in, if we do a trade with the Jets, I wouldn't give up. I wouldn't give up everything for him. I'd give up a little bit, maybe. I've said it before, but I'm kind of changing my tune a little bit on him. I say maybe a fourth round pick, maybe fourth or fifth. There definitely sounds like they probably would want to pick, just so because it sounds like they're going to be going into a rebuild here. That's if Adam Gase can actually do a decent job on drafting and whatnot. So hopefully they wouldn't have to give up a whole lot. But I would say I would say give up Arden Key. Maybe in like a fifth or sixth round pick, see what if they bite on that. But that's just my own personal opinion. I'm not like super huge when it comes to analyzing trades and doing all that kind of stuff. That's not my my forte. But that I kind of feel like that would be fair. Or maybe keep Arden Key, maybe do a Tyrell Williams in a fifth or something like that. Carlos Dunlap, he plays for the Bengals right now. He's got 61 total tackles, 37 solo tackles, 9 sacks, 8 passes defense, 0 interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles. So I would definitely bring him in. Being a defensive end, I kind of feel like, with his 2 forced fumbles, his 9 sacks, that was on the year last year. I would definitely consider him, given his stats, given what he's been able to show to do, especially because he did play under Paul Guenther, which means that and that was the year that he was a Pro Bowl player. So if he could come over and be under Paul Guenther, knowing his scheme and knowing how he does things, Paul Guenther might be able to get him back to, to that Pro Bowl type level. So I would definitely kick the tires. I might be a little bit more, given that maybe give him a little bit more of an edge to Quentin Williams, who can be defensive tackle or defensive end. He's played both positions. So I would definitely kick the tires on that, see what the Bengals will be willing to do. So then you have defensive end, J.J. Watt. I think Dunlap is a free. I'm pretty sure he's a free agent. Then you got defensive end J.J. Watt. He had 22 total tackles, 13 solo tackles, 2 sacks, 2 passes defense, and 1 forced fumble so far on the season. Again, he's on a really bad Texans team. He's a little bit older. I wouldn't give up everything for him. They would definitely have to see. They definitely have to see what the Texans would be willing to give up, if anything. So I wouldn't necessarily say go after him hardcore. I'd be more inclined for them to go heavily after Chris Dunlap. So that's just my opinion. Those are just a few guys I think that would really kind of help. If they were to pick up one of these guys, would really help bolster the defense and give a little bit more depth and a little bit more flexibility with Paul Guenther's defensive scheme, and definitely add some talent to the roster for sure. So now I want to go ahead and move on to the last thing, and I was hoping we'd get a little bit more. I was hoping we get a little bit more interaction with the chat, to kind of talk about what's going on here and kind of how what people are thinking as far as what we're talking about here. But unfortunately, we haven't got a whole lot of response in the chat right now. So anyhow, I'm going to move on to the last topic, and we'll talk about this just a little bit. So there's been a report that 5 NFL teams have put a player on the COVID-19 list since yesterday. So the question is, should the NFL shut down the season? Should they stop playing altogether because of the amount of people, the amount of players, and the amount of personnel that are coming down with coronavirus? So my personal thought is, with 5 NFL teams putting a player on the COVID-19 list since yesterday, that's a lot. And a lot of these guys, we're talking about guys that aren't able to play, and now you got to be like, okay, well, you guys got these on guys. You have these guys on the COVID-19 list. They're not playing. So now what are we talking about here? What these teams that are have these really good players are having to sit them out. And having to move forward with backup players. So, is that fair? I guess you could kind of consider it an injury or an illness, which some people would say, well, this is extenuating circumstances, and so it's only fair to either postpone the games. If there's a player that has to sit out due to the coronavirus, but then what do? Extend the season to even further into the winter, or possibly postpone it and maybe take a break and play some games, those makeup games in the spring. Like, how do you really do that, and how do you do that on the fly? Or do you just shut everything down altogether? My personal opinion is I definitely am of the mind that the player safety and the staff safety and the fan safety is number one. I personally don't think that there should be any fans in the stands. That's just my personal opinion. You might disagree with me, and that's okay. But I don't think that there should be any fans in the stands. And I think that if it becomes, I think we're getting pretty close to a point where we just need to shut it down. Now that breaks my heart to say, because I do not want to see football go away. I love football. Sundays are like a holiday to me. I freaking love football. But when it comes right down to it, I would rather have an even playing field. Especially when it comes to home games and away games. That just makes the game that much more fun. And not to mention the fan support. Being able to go to the games and tailgate. I would rather have that than have people going down, personnel going down. Right now there's so many players that aren't playing, and coaches that aren't actually going to games. And those guys are vital. When your players are struggling, the coach's job is to go in there, not just the head coach and not just the assistant coach, but the individual player coaches. The individual position coaches. Their job is to go in and to coach these guys up and to help them out, and show go over film with them and do things like that. To really coach them up and at the game on the fly. And so they need to be there. Not just the players need to be there. Obviously, the players need to be there, but the coaches and the position coaches need to be there as well. And when you don't have that, that really causes a team to struggle. And so my personal opinion is I think we're getting to a point. We're getting close to that line. I don't think that we should do it at this point. I think we should wait a little bit longer. And then see what happens. But we're definitely getting close to that point. I would say probably if three more starters go down, I would just say just be done with it, because then you got to worry about other players and who is that player come in contact with. Are they getting other people sick? Are those players not just the players? Because we could say, okay, well, it's the coronavirus, but if you're young and healthy like these players are, these are athletes, they're healthy guys. But they'll be okay. But who are they coming in contact with? Who are the personnel they're coming in contact with? Who are the personnel that are going home and taking, being in contact with their family and stuff. So my personal opinion is if they get a few more starters going out, we really should think about possibly wrapping that up. And I hate to say it, but that's what we're looking at here. So I hope we don't come to that. I hope it's not going to be like that, but we'll see. So yeah, that's all I got for today. I just wanted to do a quick live stream. Like I said, this is my first live stream. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope it went well. Make sure you come hit up the socials. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. Notifications will come through. If you hit the bell, you'll get the notifications that come through from this channel. So anytime that I'm doing a live stream, anytime that I posted a video, you're going to hear about it. Hey, what's up, Sunjoku? Says you got a bad echo. Are you watching yourself? Could be the problem. Try muting your PC volume. Okay, let's try that out. Good looking out, man. Hey, like I said, this is my. How's that, Sunjoku? Let me know if that fixes it. Like I said, this is my first live stream. I'm doing this on the fly here. You know, I'm not a YouTube expert by any means. So definitely. Somebody texted me, said I want to butter your bread. That's my family. They're funny. They are funny. All right, so that is a funny thing to say. Actually, you know, I got that from a podcaster that I listen to. Shout out to your boy Q from the Lockdown Raiders podcast. He loves using that, and I don't know. I guess I just, from listening to him all the time, that just kind of came out. So, yeah, shout out to your boy Q from the Lockdown Raiders podcast. Butter your bread, man. Yeah, so Sunjoku, let me know if that fixed the echo, man. I apologize, everybody. You know, I'll make sure that we get this all, you know, wrapped or tightened up and all that good stuff moving forward. So the more experience I get at this, the better. So go ahead and like, subscribe. I posted all kinds of information in the description. We've got the merchandise link in the description. We've got the link to the Lockdown Raider, or not Lockdown, the Spotlight Raiders talk YouTube in the description. All of our socials are in the description. Our website is in the description. The Spotlight Sports Talk website is in the description. Check out articles there on all kinds of sports, not just the Raiders or not just specific teams, but all sports. Check that out and just make sure that you like and subscribe, hit the bell, man, and we'll be getting that content out to you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the night. It has been fun. It has been real. It has been quite an experience so far. Y'all take care, man, and I will hit you up later on. For being frustrated. I'm frustrated. Cleaning it up, knowing where you're supposed to be, knowing what your job is. Don't try to do more than what you're supposed to be doing. Wrap up, tackle. You know, stop trying to take people's heads off and just get them to the ground.